Welcome to How to Better Philly, the show that helps find sustainable solutions for Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, or also known as Philadelphia, has a lot of problems like most cities around the world. We are facing a series of issues like pollution, homelessness, urban sprawl, gentrification, and how we are in fact not sustainable at all. In today's episode of How to Better Philly, we are in Arcosanti to visit Solari's principles on how urban cities can better themselves.
Here we are in Arcosanti, an urban laboratory and experimental microcity seeking radical reorganization of the built environment by integrating architecture and ecology to create Arcology. Arcology and Arcosanti were created by Paolo Soleri, an Italian architect. Soleri invited people from all over the world to join him on his journey on building a city and society that combats the issues of urban sprawl. Today, people still believe in Arcosanti's principles of community, sustainability, ecological accountability, frugality, and resourcefulness. How can we redefine what a city is? Do we have to relocate to the desert and an ideal climate to replicate Arcosanti's principles? Or can we bring them into our already established cities like Philadelphia?
Over time, I've come to believe that there's key elements of this project that are applicable to other cities. And some of those key elements for me are the idea of bounded density. So basically creating boundaries around cities to force them to develop upwards and inwards rather than outwards. I do believe that the people who sort of first started thinking about this were correct in terms of what the automobile has done to humanity, dividing us as a machine that basically makes it possible to break out of traditional ideas of community and localized culture, and also the ecological footprint of automobiles is of course really heavy. So I think the idea of limited automobile use is something else that really resonates with me. And then mixed use design concepts. How do we make buildings as efficient and useful as possible?
When you look at different cities, if you look at most rural areas in Texas, you see a lot of cities expanding outwards, like you mentioned. But then you look at cities like New York, or you look at cities like Chicago, that in the downtown areas are hyper-densified, and they build upwards. Someone could argue that there are a lot of things that New York and Chicago don't do that an Arcology would do, like being more mindful of nature preserve and trying to keep that idea of frugality in mind. But there is only so much that you can do when your society is run by different means.
We want to have food growing everywhere possible, everywhere available, whether that's in the built environment, on your stoop, on your roof. You can have edible or, bee and insect friendly plants grown that are indigenous to the area, and sort of start there. Even if you just grow your own basil for your marinara sauce is an important connection. So that's the first thing, is food. I think food's the first thing. I think second thing is to get outside as much as you can in an urban environment, which I know it's freezing in Philly in January and February. It's awful. But you need to connect to nature, even if you just go and look at a tree or draw a tree for half an hour a week, or listen to the birds, as that we're all a part of nature, and we have to recognize that the city is also a part of nature, not that nature is like this thing that's sort of inserted into the city.
Philly is far from fully embracing the vibes at Arcosanti, but we can start adopting the car-free culture by expanding bike lanes, making congested streets like Chestnut Street car-free, and pushing for fare-free public transit. To keep our city self-sustaining, we also need to push for access to solar energy while preserving and expanding our community gardens. Until then, let's continue to unite our city and connect with nature that surrounds us.